I don't think na mukhang plastikan. I also don't think na it looked like yung conspiracy ng DDS na nagsama yung dalawang camp. I don't think so. I think it just proved that LENI is a national figure, is very important, and that LENI can talk to all sides. Kasi ako, the reason why nag-react ako ng very aggressively, no, I just felt, this is DUTERTES, this is ganyan. But I was wondering, like, but would she also be okay to meet BBM and all of that? But now that I've seen her
answered your questions,
meeting all of them and no effort, then that's good. That just means Sara people cannot make a big deal out of it because you already meet BBM. So what? Diba? So I think that's very important. Although I found it subtly important too that may picture yung with BBM pero walang picture yung with Sara. So, that was subtle, right? I was like, yeah, sorry. So I'm happy. Actually, I'm happy. So I'm not. My stance is very clear. Because there was some misperception na baka because anti-Marcos yung positioning LENI na baka there will be this, but actually that was the line of the bloggers on the other side. So thanks to Ma'am LENI among others for shutting it down. And I think what's also important in that picture is that you see a lot of pink. Bam Aquino is there pink.
Yeah.
LENI is there kind of in a hues of pink. Parang may Camille Villar in the background na hindi naka-orange.
Yep.
So, and the BBM was kind of not too far away from pink, parang white siya or something. So I don't know, the color coordination was very interesting. What do you think about this meeting, bro? Before mabash na naman ako.
Well, ako for me, I've never thought of it as a big deal to begin with. That's why I was surprised that you and that former Senator Trillanes was getting a lot
Hindi
of heat.
Hindi ito orchestrated, we did it separately. Yeah,
I know.
And they make it look as if nag-coordinate.
Pero when that happened, I was like, okay guys, so Sonny Trillanes had his perspective, no need to bash him. Much like you have your perspective, nobody's bashing you. Ganun lang. And I respect Sonny Trillanes a lot for what he stood for, what he's done, and his unwavering principles. But at the same time, I understand LENI naman. Yeah. And even LENI, I'm sure, understood Sonny Trillanes and said, he's entitled to his opinion. No big deal. Yeah. The people making such a big fuss out of it should not be making a big fuss. But I understand, of course, the optics. Now, when it comes to what...
yun nga issue. The issue was not the decency and good intentions of LENI. Wala naman kaming tanong. At saka this was a religious festival. I understand all due respect. Ang akin lang exactly is the optics, baka ma-weaponize ito ng kabila, timing, kasi baka ma-impeach na siya. So it was more like that. So I felt unfair naman na parang Sonny Trillanes can speak for himself, but on my side, I never questioned LENI's character. I felt they were like shutting me down to say anything critical. I just felt that was wrong.
Right. No, for me it was like this. More than shutting you down, it's this. I think lang that LENI, to begin with, she's not a public figure in a sense that she's not in government. Excuse me, that's what I meant. She's not in government anymore. Now, I understand, of course, she can still influence.
She's running for office.
Oh, yeah, right now she's running, right. But that time, she wasn't running yet, right? So, she was in a position where, hey, listen, as a private citizen, she could do whatever she wants.
Above the fray ako.
Oh, and people want to take advantage of that. That's up to them. I don't think it really made that much of a difference in the bigger picture of things because, my God, VP Sara is facing a lot of heat. That even that will not be able to save her the way I see it. Now, talking about what happened with LENI and BBM, I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and you could see there was a mutual respect naman for each other's position and where they are.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
That's my point. Let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Why should we bash each other? I never bash LENI. I just questioned the implication of what she did. But
right.
All respect
But LENI bashed BBM. So, pero when
pero not now.
Pero not now. Not now. So I appreciated the fact that BBM was cordial about it, and he didn't take it personally. He was still friendly and hi hello, and accorded LENI that respect as well. Even though LENI was not in public office, there was still that respect accorded. I loved it, and even having Bam Aquino there, it was good to see all of them together. And naman that. Their rivalry is political. That's it. It's not personal. I think that's where the difference is kasi with the Dutertes where it's becoming very personal.
We'll talk about Dutertes kasi ibang usapan ng corruption, anong nangyari 30 years
yes.
ago. Ibang usapan, dami namatay nung last
year.
Medyo levels kasi yan
Yep.
Levels yan. Mark, dahil ba Marcos tapos Mark, medyo similar kayong mabait ni BBM? Ganun ba? Is there something with the
I
name?
like that segue.
It's like, diba?
Ngayon ko lang na-realize.
Paras kayo silang, conflict avoidance silang pareho eh. I'm a compliment by the way. Yeah.
So, masyadong, syempre, naano din ako na, uy, nice, si Lenny tsaka si BBM nagkita, shook hands, and they were cordial with each other. Pero parang nawala din nga sa isip ko na, nga pala, Bames na Aquino, no? Tapos Marcos, no? So,
exactly.
yung aside from Lenny and BBM, bago mag-away yung dalawang yan, yung Marcos and Aquino have been feuding for the last 40 years. So, it's nice then to see BBM and Bam Aquino together and being nice to each other doon sa event ni Senator Cheese, ni Senate President Cheese. Pero yung issue kasi nung pag-visit nung kay Sara, 'di ba, ang nabanggit ko na naman doon sa podcast episode natin before.
Right.
This is about the future of the opposition. Yun naman at the top of it all, kung paano ba tatawa naman si Richard.
Binalik mo na.
Binalik ko na naman.
I've been trying to avoid that conversation.
No, but we need to kailangan pag-usapan kasi 2028 is 3.5 years away.
Okay.
Diba? And the pink side would need to decide. Ano ba tayo? Lenny
So you're
ba
essentially
tayo?
saying
Or
Riza
ba tayo?
na versus Lenny pa rin, essentially.
May ganong debate na nangyayari. And that's a healthy debate kasi all parties need to talk about that. What is the best natin moving forward? And dapat siguro at this point sabay silang, they need to lead this coalition together to make sure that Bam wins, that Kiko wins. Kailangan nilang magtulungan ngayon. But in 2028, ano bang strategy natin? Are we going for the presidency? How will that affect pag tumakbo itong si Sara? How will that affect kung tumakbo itong si Tulfo? Are we expanding our numbers? 'Di ba? Kung manalo si Sonny Trillanes, we will have a base sa Caloocan. Kung manalo si so like si Cheese Escudero, could he possibly join
Na naman.
Hindi could we get him over to our side? May ganong may ganong
Yeah, but he was with the Lenny slate, diba?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Pero hindi official, diba? Parang as a
but
guest
he was
candidate.
there more or less, yeah.
Pero yun nga, the relationship is
Pink yata si Hart at some point if I'm not mistaken. I didn't understand.
So na yun. So pero in 2028 we don't know kung kanino sasama si Cheese. So I mean
long conversation.
Pero we start to talk about it na kasi we are 3.5 years away from that. And of course it's sila Sara and the Maisog people. Lahat ng focus nila aside from the Davao race is sa 2028 na. So
is Sarah really gonna run ba? I mean, parang she seems hesitant. I don't know if I'm
for
reading.
2028?
Yeah.
Well, she first has to survive impeachment. I will talk about the Dutertes and Quadcom shortly, but tapusin muna natin to kasi mahalaga to. I want to ask you because you did a lot of on the ground lives and vlogs from the Pink movement and all of that. The reading we have, and again, tama yung sinabi ni Mark, let's have a healthy discussion. This is not about hating Lenny. Hindi siya either or eh. Hindi naman siya either or eh.
Kasi the influence of Lenny is very, very, very
kaya
strong.
Nga, yun ang point ko. The way it looks to me is that intact pa rin yung base ni Lenny. Na pwede niya i-deploy.
Yep.
Now, of course, the other side of that is hindi napunta sa kabila yung base na yan. At the same time, there's another debate. See, I'm very fair. The other debate is, well, hindi mo naman mapilit ang tao kung gusto lang talaga nila si Lenny. Maybe Riza is not necessarily their cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? So, because the argument of Trillanes, and even this comes up in the RM discussion, is maybe the lesson from 2022 is that you have to start very early. 2025 is tough. Medyo mahirap. I was just with Justice Carpio kahapon on our conversation. Sabi niya, talagang masikip to. So, naintindihan ko bakit si Chel Jokno, si Leila de Lima ay hindi nila tumakbo sa Senado.
Yep.
But 2028, there's probably enough time. But kung hindi ka sigurado kay Riza ka ba or kay Lenny ka ba, maybe that's suboptimal. But the counter-argument, again, the other argument is that, hintayin natin yung survey. Kasi kung lalabas talaga sa survey, Lenny pa rin, because the survey still show Lenny's number 3 after Tulfo and Sara, then Lenny pa rin. Then so what? Then she'll have another try, diba? So, where are you on that? Kasi ako, my meaning is, let's talk about it without hating each other. Yun lang naman sa akin eh.
You know, for me, I think it's too early to tell, and I've always noticed that yung mga nananalo is the one that announces
late.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Think about it. Binay announced very early what happened. He got bashed to death and lahat ng baho niya lumabas and wala. That lead eventually dissipated and wala. We don't even hear about him anymore. Duterte was a last minute wishy-washy. I'm gonna run, I'm not gonna run, and eventually ran and won.
Lenny did that in 2022. She ran literally on in the 11th hour.
Oh yeah, and she 2022.
Yeah,
Lenny ran like
Right.
Sabi, she
diba?
was-
Right.
I see your argument, except that's what happened.
No, okay.
Marcos also, pero they were preparing before that.
Yeah.
3 months na nila
So-
negotiate
they
yan.
were,
Nalik na yan.
ano,
Okay. Well, anyway, all I'm saying is this. Right now, I think
But I agree with you.
it's
Now,
too
you don't
early.
want to be a leader soon.
Yeah, you don't wanna peak too early.
Front runner, yeah.
Especially in the polling. You don't wanna peak too early. And I think one of the candidates is potential candidates already peaked so early that I think
You mean Sara?
she's gonna lose that lead. She's already losing the
She
lead.
lost the lead to Rafi Tulfo, but the problem of Tulfo, which we'll discuss now, is he'll have 2 more brothers coming in, and if one of them tops the race, then baka sabi niya, ako na lang tatapong presidente, baka mamaya mag-aawan pa yung mga kapatid niyan.
Tapos Tulfo versus Tulfo.
Split yan.
Wala. Then that's gonna be bad for the country. So
exactly. It's weird. So I think we have discussed enough about this without getting into trouble again. But I wanna last point on this. I think Mark, you have some strong feelings about this, yung cancel culture. Napansin natin. Ako kasi Mark, napansin mo, especially on Twitter, I'm very aggressive. I call out.
yeah, you
But
do.
I still meet these people in person, interview them for my TV. Like so, or I mean, so parang ako, I make a distinction between policy disagreement or even sometimes personal criticism. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna burn all bridges and then. I mean, I met Digong, I met BBM, I met Lenny. Like even after Chris, I still talk to them, right? So, what do you think about the cancel culture? Because I remember with Isko and Lenny, it got really, really ugly, and it's like both sides canceling each other. It became really ugly, really horrible. And yung press conference ni Isko, nagwala na siya, meltdown na siya. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Ako personally, I'm against all forms of, ito personal ko lang to, I'm
Yeah,
against all forms of cancel culture, kahit kanino pa yan, kahit yung mga biggest critics ko, kahit yung mga nambabash sa akin, I will never tell anyone na i-report natin yung page niya, i-report natin. Yan ang pinakaayaw ko. Sa akin, ang comment ko lang doon sa pink side, okay? Doon sa, napapansin ko kasi sa inyo, I mean, sa mga viewers mo.
Liberals, yeah.
Sa liberals and progressive. Ang hilig i-cancel culture, yung kakampi mo na. So yun yun ang hindi ko magets eh. Yun ang major part na walang masama mag-disagree sila with you. They can debate. Pero yung para i-cancel culture mo, yung kakampi mo na. That would make your opponent stronger. That would, 'di ba? Kung if you're going to exert that much effort to canceling someone, why not use it on doon na sa kabila? Diba? Yung pwersa ng.
Pero a part of me, please correct me, I think some people have just given up hope na kaya nila influence yung kabila. So ano na yan, parang cannibalism na lang. Patayan na lang tayo kasi di na natin. It's like, it's like people under siege in the fortress and then they start killing each other on what to do. Kasi manatalo din tayo. Hindi. So for me, that's really bad. That's downward spiral.
Para some people would rather be morally right sa
pure
sa pakiramdam nila instead of winning.
Instead of
Diba?
instead of helping
Instead
people.
of helping.
Because you have to win to help people.
Yeah.
How are you gonna help people? Diba?
Yeah, yun. So yun ang medyo ano ko lang din sa pagdating sa cancel culture. Na wag yung kakampi kasi kakampi mo na yan eh. 'Di ba? Pag nagkaanuhan, 'di ba? You could, for example, si Richard, they can be sure na kapag nagkadikdikan, kumbaga you'll do what's right, you'll do what ano. So
it goes down to they know where people are gonna stand. That's what's important. But here and there magkaka-disagreements. Ikaw, what do you think, bro, about this whole cancel culture? How can we call out people rightly without also creating this rage baiting, di ba? Kumbaga yung ganun.
Yeah, well, to begin with, cancel culture used to be probably more popularly known as the mob mentality. Right? The bandwagon effect of the mob mentality where, tara, lahat tayo. Yeah, sure. And people love to jump on that train. Now, sa akin, I'm not a fan of cancel culture. I don't think anyone is. But it's not something that you can control. It happens on both sides. It happens on all sides. I can name so many instances where cancel culture, like for example, Shopee. Alam mo yung nangyari with si Tony Gonzaga ba yun? They got her as an endorsement and people were saying, cancel mo yan, cancel ang Shopee, don't support Shopee. And then I sent my Shopee link because I'm an affiliate. Pucha, I got so much hate. They're like, why are you supporting Shopee? I'm like, dude, listen. I go, alam mo, they got Tony Gonzaga, let it be. You don't need to cancel these businesses. They provide a service and a lot of people benefit from them. So let's just let it be. But then I don't really care to disagree with people. If you want to cancel, you go for it. And let's see if you get the momentum. Okay, if the majority does it, then the majority does it. I'm not the type to say let's stop cancel culture because I think it is societal. It's something that you can be against, but can you stop it? You can preach about stopping it, but then again, I think the mob rule will rule at the end of the day.
Ako, again, feel free to disagree with me. For me, I think there's some people who are just beyond the pale.
Yeah.
Diba? I think they deserve to be canceled in the sense that, like, if there's someone who openly says, let's go kill and rape people and whatever, I don't think we should give them platform.
So our former president is that, exactly. So
not the platform. So that's why I never tried to interview the former president.
Okay.
But with this current president, I'm not necessarily against it categorically. If there's a proper opportunity and platform, I'm okay to interview BBM.
Right.
But with Digong, I just felt there's no way around it because baka mapatay pa ako. But aside from that, I just don't think I will get a fair answer. If anything, baka magamit pa yung conversation to justify the killing. So for me, hindi ko ma-share yung platform. Like the farthest I could go is to debate one of his top propagandists. But that was it. It was a one-off. And then ayoko na, sabi ko, that's it. I've done my job. And I got so bashed by the other side for platforming them and all of that. So ako feeling ko, there's a very small number of people talagang you have to deplatform them. Or at least not give them platform because baka it but that's my side. You can disagree with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say kasi if
free
you're
speech absolute siguro.
You're
hindi case to case study.
Ako if you're gonna say don't do cancel culture, don't do it. There's no let's apply that principle equally and to all. Either walang cancel culture or meron. Ganun ako.
Case to case basis.
Yeah. I mean
it's hard. Yes.
Yeah, it is. But I don't blame you because that's what I mean by then that's your opinion and that's your choice. Now, if you can get a majority to support you, then there you go. Then you get to cancel. If you don't, then you don't. Ganun lang. And that's how it works, really.
I mean, I tried, right? With si Banat Bay, diba? I challenged the war on drugs openly and all of that. So I said,
Ganda ng conversation nila.
I mean, it was very heated and all of that. But I just felt, bahala ng tao humusga kung tama yung sinabi ko.
A good example din here is Kibuloy Like yung ginawa ng YouTube kay Kibuloy, 'di ba? They platformed Kibuloy kasi he is wanted by sa FBI. So inalis yung YouTube niya, inalis yung ano niya. So yun yung magandang case for the case of Kibuloy, 'di ba? Ano ba?
Criminal na kasi.
Oo kung merong ano So
are you for it or against it?
Yung pagtanggal ng YouTube. Kasi the thing is, it's in their policy
Yeah, yun na nga
Wala kang ano
Hindi mo sinagot, bro.
Yeah. So
you're okay with that?
Kumbaga, business nila yan I have no business.
So you're respecting the rules of the game.
The rules of their So parang wala akong ano to...
So you're not gonna cancel YouTube for canceling them. So you see what we're getting into here? This kind of a dialectical spiral, no? This is, I think, very good conversation. This is a segue to Duterte's, right? Because we can make all sorts of criticism of Marcos Jr. and on this platform, among others, we criticize the PhilHealth fund transfers. I completely agree with because some people criticize both me and Christian Esquerra daw, bakit purong Duterte yung content namin, wala masyado dun sa ibang departments, bakit purong confidential. Well, so if I have a research team of I'll go through each of them, right? I have no problem. But realistically, I can only focus on the worst cases, and in my opinion, Dutertes are the worst. And I had a column earlier this week, Duterte, the worst president ever. I still put a question mark out of, courtesy for the sake of debate kasi I want to open up the debate. You have been making similar argument. Ako kasi for me, ibang level yung allegations sa Dutertes. And is it really just allegation, right? That you're talking about mass murder.
Yeah.
And even worse than Marcos Sr. Because Marcos Sr. was there 21 years. Kasi di ko wala pang 4 years nalampasan niya.
Actually, on 2 years, on the second year, nalampasan na niya.
I'm just even being nice with the numbers of the
Oh
government.
yeah, sure, yeah.
I'm using the government numbers
Yep.
to 4 years, if I use the legit, Transparency International, whatever, I'm sorry, Human Rights Watch numbers, yes. And not to mention, at least si Marcos Sr. hindi duwag sa China. He actually built their facilities in Philippines. But that doesn't mean okay yung ginawa niya. I'm just saying, to put into perspective, if there are people who think Marcos Sr. was the worst, I would put Duterte in a different category. And ipso facto, BBM, who's not a dictator last time I checked, at least so far, will not be in the same category. Right? I'm not saying okay si BBM. I'm just saying, ibang category to eh. Kaya sabi ko, in theory, I'm more comfortable with the idea of interviewing BBM than Digong back in the day. Kasi, but again, is Duterte the worst ever president for you? I mean, as an amateur historian, if I can put it that way. Yeah.
You know my answer. We've talked about this, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe we did it on air.
Kasi noon wala pa yung Quadcom and all eh. Kasi, I mean, the world can still, wala si Garma, I mean, sariling mga ano.
Alam mo, it's so obvious naman kasi what Digong did. Actually, what surprises me is that nobody is still indicting him or nobody's charging him because of the fact of all his pronouncements. He already admitted using the confidential funds to kill people. Galing sa sarili niyang bibigyan. He already admitted several times to killing people. He seems to even celebrate in the idea that he can make such pronouncements and admissions and nobody can do anything about it. He already said so many times na about, yun na nga, na kaibigan niya itong mga pogos at walang problema sa kanila and formally, lagot ang mga Senado for even investigating formally. Kinakalaban niya ang sarili niyang bansa against all the people, his cohorts or the allies or the people that benefited from his presidency. And that's what surprises me is that nobody's doing anything about it. Digong, yes, for me is the worst president ever. We agree on that. Kasi first, the mass murders, number one. Number two, favoring another country as the sitting president.
Are you saying treasonous?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You're the president. You're the president of the Philippines and you allow a Chinese Navy ship to dock in Davao. And then you allowed Chinese military jets to dock in Davao and they were docking with empty. These were empty vessels, walang laman. And what was inside those things? What were you putting or pulling out of that? And he wouldn't even tell anyone.
Stem cell daw, stem cell.
Tapos and plus the fake war on drugs. That's the worst part of it. You know, the human rights violations. Now, I'm gonna add lang. I know that mga DDS, yung mga natitirang konting DDS that are still saying na, pero tignan mo, kagaya sabi ni Bongo, yung katahimikan na na-enjoy nating mga Pilipino dahil sa ginawa ni Duterte. So, inaamin mo nga may ginawa si Duterte, number one. Number two, yung usapan na nagkaroon ng peace and order. Even Goma said it, diba? There's peace and order. Okay.
Richard Gomez.
Sure. Let's look at statistics. Okay. We all agree that we all want peace and order. We want less crime, right? But less crime without the abuses by the PNP, without the abuses of government, without the corruption, without mga dayuhan actually invading our country. Without all of that, that's what I want. Unfortunately, the one in power took advantage of this war on drugs to be able to propel himself and all his the people around him to riches and to steal from the government. Now, nanahimik ang Pilipinas, diba? Sabi nila during the time of Duterte. Guess what? Crime numbers are actually down in the time of Marcos by 60 or 70%. The crime volume went down from 190,000.
BBM.
No, I'm just saying, it really is from 100. Parang
every time BBM.
190,000 na volume, it went down to 73,000.
Shout out Secretary Abalos.
Exactly.
Mandaluyong, here we come.
Mandaluyong represent.
That number
fire shot.
That number really impressed me. And then that's when you can see
kalaban ng kriminal, pero yung kalaban at kriminal lang nakikita.
Pero tingnan mo to Abalos did it without having to kill people.
Yes, exactly. Without Baguio, Magalong.
Magalong, exactly. You didn't have to
walang JK sa
kill people, but people were not being killed by the police and you still got peace and order.
Exactly.
And people weren't afraid. That's the problem
Pasig rin.
Pasig.
I wanted to say, alam na Mark, saan mo? Kaming mga background information. I won't mention other cities because, I got weird information here and there. Mark, kasi one is, for me, just in my journalistic fairness, let the evidence and all come out before I make that final judgment. Although I already implied that all the time, di ba? Now, medyo mahirap. But the other thing is, pabaksak din yung popularity ng Dutertes, di ba? Kulelat sila, walang tumakbo sa Senate. Si Baste, na-demote pa sa vice mayor na lang. Si Polong, medyo alanganin siguro kay Migs Nograles. Digong, well, I mean, he's gonna win it most likely. But
You think?
but
I don't know.
What I'm hearing.
But is he gonna finish his term? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look good. I mean, I don't know, man. So even if Carl Nogales loses this round, if he keeps it close, and then basta yung next round, good luck sa inyo.
Yeah, and isn't it true though? I think that is the rumor going around that the only reason Digong is running is because they knew that Baste was not liked by any of the councilors or any of the people around him, and they're all saying that he's really a bad mayor. So when they found out through the grapevine that Nograles was gonna run, then Digong said, "Ako na lang." Yun, pero my God, if you listen to Digong's reasons on why he's running, it's ridiculous. I'm actually going to do a video
Digong
about
and
it.
reasons, I mean, the same sentence. I'm not sure, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so, pero ito lang masasabi ko, with Digong running, honestly, there was a good comment that was made on one of my videos, the one I did about Nograles and Duterte. Sabi nila, alam mo, we really believe that Duterte is running because of his lust for blood. Because when you've been a mass murderer for the last 36 years of your life. Actually, he's been killing even while he was in college. He admitted killing a fellow law student.
Siya,
Yeah. So he's already had that lust for blood and he got away with it back then. And he got away with it on the 30 years as mayor. Can you imagine somebody who's nasa DNA mo na yan, hinahanap mo yung pagpatay ng tao. That's your dopamine fix. That is a megalomaniac to the level of Hitler, to the level of Napoleon Bonaparte. Psychopath that loves the power and this grand illusion of grandeur that he is God. He calls himself Superman. Okay, he wants people to call him.
Insulted the Lord. I mean, this guy is.
He thinks he's God, so he's above the law. So in this sense,
he was best friend of son of.
Yeah, there you go, the son of God.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, like
sure. So
I don't know what dynamic they got, but
so it's like they're Trinity.
I don't know, man.
So
crazy stuff. So you're saying no question he's worst by far, even if as we were critical about all the kapalpakan. Kasi ako naman, kung katamaran ang usapan, yes, close fight, Digong, Erap. Kung corruption scandals, Arroyo, Duterte. If, EJK, Senior Duterte. You know what I'm saying? Like, foreign policy, he's like way ahead of everyone else.
Yun, exactly. So if you look at it on several categories, talagang panalo si Digong sa pagiging worst president.
I'm willing to go up to Aguinaldo and make still that argument.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
I'm willing to go, like first the public.
Kahit yung mga under Japan, no?
Kahit isama po si Laurel, I'm willing to argue that the collaboration with Japan saved more lives, I mean, I'm talking about Laurel, than this guy collaborating with China and namatay sa I'm just saying, like, even if you play the historian card, I'm willing to stand by that ground. Shout out kay Ambet Ocampo and our friends, the historians. Go ahead, but yeah, I mean, that's crazy. But what are we learning in the Quadcom that could be politically explosive? Mark, sa tingin mo, I mean, we discussed this a little bit in RRM, but since last week our conversation, you think the Garma thing, the Kervin Espinosa thing, the Espanido thing, I'll go back to Mr. Hearing an analyst here kasi ito talaga, how explosive do you think na ex-lover of the president potentially serving as a chief witness for the whole, eto na yung totoong Matrix talaga, yung Matrix na totoo, hindi yung kay Jollibee at saka kay si Edu Manzana
at saka si Hidlin Diaz lahat sinali na.
Nainggit ako, di ako nilagay doon nun so eto na yung totoong Matrix, meron na tayong idea. So what do you think about that?
Ayun, kasi kumbaga the people on the top nung panahon na yun are starting to feel the pressure na kumbaga, the building up is from the ICC and dun sa Quadcom and dun sa lahat ng... So, ako I'm really interested to see what else we would find out dun sa mga pangyayari. Kasi we all heard about it. It was an open secret nga dun sa mga police and sa mga pero yung level o yung degree nung how they were doing it and kung paano nila and how much and kung sino yung who was carrying it out, who was...
It matters, no? Details matter. Kasi you can have a spectral, abstract idea of a horrible thing. It's like war.
Yep.
Someone says, ang dami nakamatay sa Gaza. And then you see people being burned alive
Yep.
by a bomb. Medyo iba yung effect. You see a mangled child losing the head. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like we don't...
Yung evidence talaga.
In your face.
It really matters talaga as to hearsay or yung naririnig natin or yung pinag-uusapan nila doon.
Oo.
So ito may actual na affidavit, may actual na evidence, may actual na mga nagte-testify. So mabigat eh.
Pero tingin mo ba si Garma is just an innocent bystander as she claims to be?
No one believes that.
no.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Everyone
but
knows.
see, that's my worry about her.
Kakasuhan siya, diba?
Yan ang takot ko nga doon sa kanyang affidavit. Kasi when you make an affidavit, you're claiming that that's the truth, right? That's a sworn statement.
So you're saying the veracity will be questioned?
Yes, because
She got herself scot-free too much.
of course, she says, kayo lahat alam nyo yan. You all participated. I just knew about it. What the heck? Are you serious? See, bakit kaya, isipin mo, paano namatay si Barayuga? I mean, come on. You were
That's how
the
it started.
Yeah, you're the PCO chair and you admitted that you got a phone call from a friend out of nowhere saying na Barayuga is doing drugs. And then you happen to mention it to Leonardo and then Leonardo acted on it on his own. Come on.
Just to be clear, Leonardo is the chief operating officer, COO of this whole drug war operation. So if they're going CEO, he's the COO, right?
Yeah, parang ganon. Yeah. And not just that. Now then after that he became Napolcom, 'di ba?
Oh, definitely.
Which is like that's the ano tawag mo doon yung internal affairs, Napolcom. And how do you find fault when the person in charge of looking for fault in the police is the head of the freaking
Well, isn't that what Bato and Bongo want? They will investigate themselves in the Senate. Isn't that ridiculous?
Oo, sobrang conflict of interest naman yung gusto nilang mangyari doon na sila yung kakausap kay Tatay Digong, sila yung
Pero actually, sorry, going back, I would love them to have their own hearing kasi feeling ko Jonathan Morales na naman may dudulas sa si Digo yung kay Bato na yan inutos ko hindi na ginawa yung pinatay lang niya gagagalan siya I'm sure actually I want it to happen para lang pagtawanan natin.
No, I'll tell you I have this theory on Duterte sa mental capacity.
Acuity,
yeah, and honestly
dudulas yan.
Hindi madudulas, he will admit it. I think Duterte will incriminate himself not because he wants to, but because he can't help himself. Yung ayaw niya kasi na kine-question siya. He hates it. He hates it when media questions him. That's why whenever media says to him, "Are you going to do this?" Hell, you know I'm gonna do it. Papatayin ko talaga.
So between his ego and his political he'll choose his ego.
Versus political survival. Yes, psychopath.
If he's a psychopath, psychopaths don't care.
Psychopaths want to admit they committed a crime. They want you to try to catch them.
They'll boast it pa.
Yeah, the Ted Bundys, they do that. They're trying for you to catch them and see if you can. Kaya nga nung Ted Bundy is a classic case of a psychopath. He really said na, I did it. Tapos try to
So tama ako na ituloy na yan. Kasi,
ituloy talaga, whether it's Quadcom or Senate.
Ito problema ko, pag tinuloy sa Senate, who will stand up to Digong?
No.
Risa will.
Risa lang, no? Si Risa lang.
Speaking of Risa, di ba?
So siguro
kaya niya yan.
Dalawa kami ni Risa doon.
Yun.
Magka-quadcom kami doon sa Senado. Hindi kasi yung mga senador parang ang soft eh. Kung ikukumpara mo sa, di ba? Kung ikukumpara mo sa
Congress.
No, but in fairness to Riza, so she tried to immediately checkmate this because I think everyone cried foul about, wait, yung in-investiga, mag-investigation.
Galing nung ginawa niya.
So immediately she said, wait, bakit si Bato ang mag-overseeing hearing? Let the Senate President do it.
Yeah.
So siguro habang nag-ayos ng eyebrows or Paris Fashion Week, yayan niya na because I don't think Cheese will, in fairness kay Cheese, he's a smart guy and I think he's smart enough to realize he cannot look pro-Digong or shielding them. But ako, I still like the crazy idea of Bato overseeing it. It will go. And Digong feeling comfortable.
Yeah, we'll just say everything.
Spill all the beans. Gagana si Bato doon. Yeah.
Pero alam mo, I look at Digong. If you ever seen the movie A Few Good Men?
Yes, of course.
Colonel Jessup, Jack Nicholson, yung character niya, yan si Digong eh. Yung I made the order and I don't
Proud
wanna...
pa siya,
because you don't want to have to deny you made the order. Kasi nga, and he even said, you're living with the comfort that I provide you, with the security I provide. So don't question the method of
It's
how I
that
provide it.
mindset.
It is exactly how Duterte
Ganun
is.
nga, no?
Kaya I'm telling
That's
you,
a
if
good
you put
method,
him on
no?
the stand,
He will do that.
he will say it because he hates the fact that he's gonna be questioned by Kabataan Representative Manuel or si Franz Castro. Pag humarap si Franz Castro, bumurahin niya yan. Oh, sabi niya.
Dapat nga pinatay ko kayo.
Oh!
Sabi niya, alam mo, ito kasi tanga tong
Yeah.
inutusan ko, di ka pinatay. I'm sure he'll say that shit.
He will. And then, but the question is, kasi I think he still believes that the Congress and the government agencies and BBM will not have the balls to actually cite him in contempt or worse, charge him with a felony because what he did is a felony. Hindi siya exempt doon. Kaya if BBM wants to increase his ratings,
This
if
would
he
be
did
good.
that, my God, I'll tell
Actually,
you, shoots up the roof.
Mark, I want to also get your idea on this, diba? Parang Duterte is the kind of a madman theory, right?
Yep.
I'm just gonna go so crazy, you'll think twice before crossing me. The problem is that you cannot do that forever. If you do that forever, madness is the method. Hindi na siya the method in the madness. And we see that, diba? I mean, the reason why watak-watak itong UNITEAM is not because of BBM. It's because napuno na si First Lady. Na everyday, binabastos niya yung asawa ko, ba't yung baste na...
Oh, yeah, that
butas
was
ng
so bad.
Parang, what the heck? Tapos tumatawa pa si Sarah. Otherwise, if it's just up to BBM, paras kayo di ba? Conflict avoidant, may UNITEAM pa rin.
Yun ang problem kay BBM.
Yun naman. Pero at least yung asawa niya, mahutak.
And si Martin Romualdez.
Yeah, so the adults yan lang, kami ng balad. Di ba? Kasi,
Yes.
Doon mo makita gaano ka suicidal politically si Digong. Wala siyang pake. He will just go there. And it's a hubris and it's also this delusion that as si Tatay Harry put it, it's the Duterte magic, which is, I'm not sure that black magic is working as much, right? What do you think about that? That Duterte is really digging his own grave here, and maybe you want to give him the final blow. Put him on a hearing and let him do a crazy... Parang he wants to go out with a bang.
Oh,
diba?
yeah.
Do the craziest
I agree with you. I really want that hearing to happen. Let's go.
But good po, is that the nearest thing we're going to get of having Duterte on trial?
I don't think Duterte is going to attend. Yun lang. I really believe...
I really want him to.
Yeah, I don't think he will. Kasi
Kung hindi
alam niya
kung
na...
hindi si Bato, kung
Hindi,
hindi
feeling
si...
ko si
Kahit si Bato, hindi ang pupunta
kahit si
dito.
Bato, hindi pa rin mag-attend.
Tingin ko hindi attend. I'd be surprised if he did. Because he will incriminate
Or
himself.
let's say, okay, for the sake of
Yung
he will first attend na mukhang kawawa, matanda, and then wala pang 10 minutes, mainit na ulo niya.
Oh! As soon as you ask him the hard questions that he hates, especially if a Riza Hontiveros is asking, matitrigger yan. Bibigay yan.
And by the way, kahapon kausap ko si Justice Carpio, technically, the evidence gathered there could be also used by ICC.
Yes,
So actually, the Quadcom, and they're doing the legwork na for ICC. Ang maging negotiation lang mamaya is if ICC believes that now finally the Philippines is taking care of its business. Kasi di ba under the principle of complementarity, hindi pwede pumasok ang international courts if the domestic institutions are functioning. So now, ang debate is, oh, you're functioning very well, but do you still want me to come in? But nevertheless, you can see this, that this could be not the final trial. Baka madala pa rin sa Europe si Kuya, di ba? But this is interesting. Now, let's talk about Davao politics, no? Kasi the Nograleses are pretty smart people. I don't think they will run for office if they think they're completely hopeless. And if they don't think a lot of support is not coming in.
Yeah.
They're essentially the admin's bet right now. Di ba? Sabi ni Ronald, di ba, dadagsan sila ng grasya sa elections na yan.
Babaha talaga dyan.
Babaha ng grasya. So, speaking of Davao, I think some of our Davaoenyo friends have misunderstood me kasi sabi ko, I had experienced fantastic in Davao. I'm Ilocano, I'm very proud of Ilocano bag, but I would say mas warm pa sila. Mas warm pa sila in Davao. And I remember when I was in Davao 2018, I gave a talk at the Ateneo de Davao. Fantastic treatment, etc. And then even sa airport, yung iba, if they recognize you, parang syempre, takot ako. Hindi, actually, parang they're willing to, parang sport sila, na even if criticize mo si Digong, I mean, and then the funniest experience I had in Davao was people in Davao asking me what I think about Duterte and how is he performing in Manila. Kasi parang...
So they don't know your stance on Duterte?
No, they know my stance, and yet, parang curious sila, where is Richard getting all of this confidence to write a book about him, academic book, etc.? So they were genuinely curious. I mean, I had a talk at Ateneo de Davao, for instance, also there. And there were like all chair departments there. And each of them were asking me questions about Duterte. How do you analyze him at the national and international level? Because I would compare him to Bolsonaro, Trump, what is there, what is not
Right.
there. So parang my point is, it's only in comparison that you know what the person is. Kasi if you only know Davao and Duterte, you really don't know Duterte.
Yes.
It's only when you compare. So I brought that comparative perspective. So they really appreciated that. And they were very curious. Kamusta siya sa Manila? Parang ayaw ng tao sa kanya. Sabi ko, ganito, ganyan. So I actually had one of the most illuminating and friendliest conversation in Davao. So actually, I love to go back to Davao. I just hope it's still safe. Kasi someone joke you're like frenemy number 1 or something like
Yun
that.
nga, paano ko mangangampanya dun eh.
Oh, I don't want to go to Davao. I'll be honest. That's why I'm surprised you did, because I'd be afraid to go to Davao.
How do Davaoenos feel ba about EJ case kaya? Yun ang...
Okay, this is where I got into some trouble because I think a lot of Davaoeno friends took offense or at least took exception to what I said na it's mahirap malaman ano talagang gusto ng tao habang may climate of fear.
Yes.
So if you go to Reddit, there's a whole thread about what I posted on Twitter. Obviously, Twitter is not the most eloquent version of me. But a big chunk was they saw it as an insult from a Manileño and they forget I'm actually from Provincia Tobago. But there were other people that actually said their own life story. Yung dad daw niya, manager, may sinabi lang about Duterte, one day may kumatok, oy, gusto mong tumahimik, ganon. Yung iba nag-migrate na lang out of Davao. So actually, may mga nagsasalita na rin doon. So it just confirms the climate of fear I was talking about. Now, you don't need to invite Trillanes to tell you about the death squads. You don't need to read Patricia Miguelisa's book to know about the operations there. So I think there's and the reason, because I've been to North Korea, I've been to China, I've been to many authoritarian countries. And honestly, you talk to people there, they rather say they like the president.
Right.
Like if you do a survey in Russia, someone calls you, comrade, what do you think about Vladimir Putin? Do you think he's a great guy? What are the options? Good, great, fantastic. Do you have higher than that, comrade? Okay, because I'm like, and then that's the open scare. The other one is, if you can't beat it, join it. Meaning, just buy the narrative.
Yeah.
So, 3 decades na sila dun. Ang tagal na
Yes.
mga Dutertes. So I felt medyo hindi at, I think the Dutertes, and Mark is always harping on that, I think they've been so good in weaponizing itong mga taga Manila, mga kupa,
Yes.
elites, gano'n. Kaya ako always
It's
emphasize,
us against them. Parang ganun.
medyo konyo itsura ko. So they try to actually, no. What I'm saying is, do not equate Duterte to Davao because Davao is so much better than Duterte.
Right.
And yes, Duterte maybe was necessary, maybe, again, it's an argument, 1980s and 90s, nung Duterte was like Nicaragua. But Davao is super nice and developed right now. I think they have outgrown the need for those kinds of leaders.
Yep.
But yun nga, so I hope my Davao friends, I'm saying this in a very friendly, we don't, kasi kami sa Baguio, we also feel the same. Galit kami sa mga taga Manila, mga kupal to mga. Kasi ako, I speak Ilocano, di ba? So when I go up, yung kotse ko kasi, the plate number is Manila. So nakikita ko yung guard ng mga ganun, and then I immediately speak Ilocano. Apay, kasi, and then they immediately, nga, tapos Ilocano, nga, ang yabang to mga taga Manila nga. Lalo ang Christmas time, holidays, ang daming tao. So, if kami nga sa Baguio nang lapit sa Manila, we feel that kind of Imperial Manila,
Wow.
Hindi pa kayang mas malayo.
I completely relate to Davao. 100%. So, I just feel people understand that where I'm coming from is, I think Davao as a city and as a people is way better than Duterte. They have outgrown that need.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, trapo din to dynasty, but maybe you have an alternative now that mas tugma, at least medyo Harvard Law School graduate, medyo hindi, data driven. I mean, look at, diba, Digong made Carlo Nograles not only his CAB secretary,
Yep.
but also one of the spokesmen during COVID to discuss all the
Yes.
matalinang tao. So, I just hope our folks in Davao don't get into this weaponization of tribalism. Because I'm from Baguio, I'm from Solid North supposedly, but I've criticized BBM, I've criticized Marcos Sr. So I don't allow my ethnicity or background define my
Yeah.
opinion. Because we are way more than just Marcoses. So that's where I'm coming. Sorry. Kayo, what is your read on that? On the whole Imperial Manila, Davao, and have you been to Davao, any of you guys? What is your impression of Davao? Let's do a Davao conversation, right? We need this, brother.
The last time I was there, hindi pa yata presidente si Digong eh. So matagal-tagal na din eh. Kasi I used to go there for business dun sa kumpanya namin. It's nice naman, ganda naman yung mga malls and yung mga places doon. It's hard to say din eh kung
Kinakabahan na.
Nakabahala din ako eh.
No, okay. Let's be fair. Kasi ang tingin nila is kung taga Manila ka, ang babaw ng tingin mo sa Davao. That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not
The Duterte's created that narrative.
Oh,
That's
it's
not
not like
even
that.
true.
Yeah, it's not like
So, kasi alam mo, a politicians, a populist president, or a populist leader will always look for an enemy that
Yeah,
we
us
can.
versus them.
Right. It's always that. Kaya palagi, ang that's that style. Ang nakakatawa, ang daming mga tao na nauuto pa rin dito, hindi nila alam na tactic yun. Yung, us against the communists, us against the drug addicts, or us against, yun na nga, mga taga-Imperial Manila. Dude,
Othering. Yeah.
nobody is, walang nang-aapik kanino. You're the one creating that narrative in your head that's not even based on
there's
reality.
obviously
But I
some
think,
prejudice
ano eh,
here and there. But
There's
it's not all
prejudice on
the
all sides.
All sides, sa bagay.
It's hard for me to understand it din kasi I'm from Imperial Manila eh. So hindi ko
Imperial QC.
Oh, eh. So, pero like for example, 'di ba sa Cebu, 'di ba? Some Cebuano friends ayaw nilang Tagalog. They would rather Cebuano or English. So merong ganong
Yeah, but
ano
see,
eh.
do you hear people from Cebu saying to you na taga Manila ka, walang no, it's friendlier. Davao, he was able to weaponize that I'm from Davao, you're from Manila, and so you're an asshole. Cebu and Manila, I don't see that kind of tension as much as they created with only the people that support Duterte.
Ako, taga Baguio, my lola was there, God bless her so much. Everyone is actually ang linis ng Davao, maayos ng Davao. What I saw in Davao just confirmed everything I was told about it while I was critical of Digong's national policies, etc. In fact, there was a part of me, again, this is out of respect, is that I don't know about 80s and 90s what you needed, but obviously I still disagree with the method. But ako kasi, isa sa pinaka nakakainis sa akin is nung naging presidente si Digong, biglang nagkakaroon ng EJK sa Baguio. In fact, may isang kilala ng pinsan ko na binaril sa gitna ng Session Road. Dude, that's like it's like Times Square instead. Well, Times Square actually has a lot of crime. Think about a square or a main thoroughfare in a city na sobrang peaceful. And the next thing, biglang so parang, bakit nyo dinadala yung sa inyo sa amin? Parang na-impose nyo sa amin. Doon ako nainis eh. Nawala lang yun nung naging si Magalong ng mayor. Kasi he's police. Like, no, I'll do it my way. He has the authority. Pero to be honest, before that, may mga EJK sa Baguio na naiinis ako na, this is the Davao model. Don't impose it on us.
Yep.
I felt offended as a Baguio boy that you're imposing it on the rest of us when hindi naman kailangan ng EJK sa Baguio. In fact, hindi kailangan to begin with. But I just felt that was Imperial Davao on us in Baguio. Yeah, that's one way it got personal to me. Like, barilan sa gitna ng Baguio? Like, I never seen guns in Baguio. Like, that's crazy. Kahit suntukan lang, minsan-minsan lang kami.
That's why I was asking kanina kung how Davaoenos kaya feel about EJK. Kasi isang important din that we need to
But can they be really honest to us? Like, unless it's off the record and all. Kasi on the record, I
connect this dun sa question ko sa buong bansa eh. Kasi there's a large segment din ng population natin who knows about EJK. Alam nila na walang due process, walang talagang may summary execution lang, but they were still all right with it.
Yes.
Because they had given up on this system.
Oo.
So,
yes.
the term for that is penal populism. Yung idea na is, I'm the dirty Harry, right?
Yep.
Wala eh. The sheriff is corrupt. I just have to shoot down the criminals. So, I think, understandable yung mindset na yan pag anarchic yung situation. I don't know, failed state, Somalia, I don't know, whatever. Pero napakasensado naman ng Davao ngayon at hindi naman ganun kagrabe yung buong Pilipinas. Again, I'm not saying EJK is okay. I'm just saying, I just don't feel we are in a chaotic situation to warrant that. Now, there are parts of the